Hi all, August 23rd. On my way to work, almost leaving the house. So I was thinking about a few things. One of them is that I saw my boyfriend yesterday, and basically I had these rabbits that died on me. I bought from all the same store. I bought six rabbits, one after the other, and they each kept dying. And so that store, anyways, it looks like all the rabbits died because they had sick rabbits, and I bought them all sick. And now that I think back, I'm like, oh my god, each rabbit cost 90 shekel, which is like $20. And if I didn't spend that money on all those rabbits, I would have had more money now because it adds up, you know. So the I had some of the rabbit food left over a while back, and after my rabbits had died and everything, I still had this rabbit food. And my boyfriend, his daughter had a rabbit, you know? So he's like, okay. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just throw this rabbit food out, and I'm just gonna throw it out. So he's like, no, my daughter has a rabbit. Let me give it to her. So I said to him, listen, I think anything that I touched that had pertaining to rabbits is kind of cursed, so I don't suggest you give her this food because I think this food has a curse on it. He's like, no, you're being superstitious. And I'm like, okay. So we went to his daughter, and I gave it to his daughter. And her rabbit's a nice big rabbit, and she even trained it like a dog. I told her, look, I said to her, I believe my food has a curse on it, so I don't know if you should keep it. I said, I think you better just not take it. So, but she's like, no, don't worry, I'm not worried. Next thing you know, yesterday my boyfriend said he went to pick up his daughter, and his daughter said that her rabbit had just run away. It jumped over the balcony and disappeared. So I said, I told you that food has a curse on it, you know? Anything I touch with the rabbits, it just has bad luck. So I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. Her rabbit that she loved just disappeared. She looked for it, she couldn't find it, you know? What could she do, you know? So that's the story about that. And I was watching this thing on Netflix about drug lords and cartels, and I think that people in the United States don't really understand the extent of how dangerous this whole thing is in Mexico about the drugs and the cartels fighting against each other and the viciousness and how much money goes into it and how the drugs are just floating into the US from the Mexican border, you know? And I think that Trump is just so he cares enough to try to stop this drug trafficking and these cartels from making a business off the U.S. and sending the drugs in through the open borders, and to stop the illegal immigration with all these criminals, you know? Because people don't understand the extent of how evil this drug business can get, you know? They're like, I think they're just so innocent, and it's just amazing how ignorant people are to think that what Trump is doing about the Mexican border is like, I think it's unbelievable that they don't understand like the sex trafficking that goes on, the drug trafficking that goes on, and the left is kind of like painting Trump to be this monster when in reality he's just being a good person trying to, you know, create a safe America for everyone. So, you know, for all you leftists that hate Trump, there's like a Netflix show on Netflix. There's like a whole thing about they interview the drug lords and the drug cartels, and the people that were part of it, and you can see it's not a joke. It's a serious business, and it's scary, and the murder that goes on and the innocent people that are killed through this is just insane. And Americans that die from all these drugs and everything is just, I think what Trump is doing, I think we have to vote him in another 4 years so that he can continue to try to create that wall and create security across America, you know, that the left doesn't care to do. Anyhow, my boyfriend, he said that he invited me to go with him to Ukraine for one of his dance conferences. He dances like bachata, I don't know, and something else, I don't remember. And I had told him, okay, I'll come with you if you take me to my grandfather's grave in Ukraine. But then I spoke to my father and I asked him where my grandfather's buried, where his father is buried. And he said that the last 2 years of his life he had moved to Riga. So my grandfather is buried in Riga. I think it's a few hours away from Ukraine. So it's a different city. So either way, I told my boyfriend, it's okay, we don't need to go to my grandfather's grave if we go to Ukraine, because it's not in Ukraine, he's buried in Riga, you know? So, I also want to talk about karma. Basically, karma's a bitch, they say, but, basically, the other day, I wasn't feeling well, and I left work a little early, and when I left, the bus took me too far out from where I came from. I needed to take a train back to the center. So I got on that train back to the center, and basically, I'm looking at my cat. Her nose is still running, and she's not coughing as much, but her eyes are running, and she has me worried. She's in there. She's so sweet. Anyhow, so what was I gonna say? So basically, these two guys were sitting in two seats here, and then across from them people could sit, facing them. So they had their feet up, and there was like hardly any seats, and they had their feet up on the seats, like so no one could sit there. And then there's the girl sitting on the other side over there, this way, and her feet were also up, but then I wasn't so scared of her, so I said I want to sit there, so she moved her legs, and I was just like looking at them, the other two guys with their feet up, and I was like thinking, like, they're such assholes, like, they're just so rude, like, I was like even scared to ask them to move their feet, because they look really aggressive. The whole time I'm thinking in my head, like, oh my god, these two guys are really annoying. I wish I could say something to them. But then, karma's bitch. Guess what? These two fat, smelly guys squeezed in past their legs and sat straight across from them. So they were forced to put their legs down, and I was thinking, that's karma for you. I said, that's karma for them. I said, now instead of having a pretty girl sit across from them, they had to be squeezed in with these two fat, huge, smelly guys right across from them. And they were scared to do anything because these guys were just like really fat and scary and gross. So that's a story with that. My phone is running out of data. Out of data because, like, I guess I watch too much stuff on Netflix. But, you guys should all... I think most people are just so ignorant of what's out there, the evil that's out there. If they only knew, they would support Trump 100%. Okay, have a good day. Bye-bye.